Sachi. Today I want to make an Alek Rib top from Just Patterns. I got this fabric from Joann finally. I've been eyeing this knit fabric for a while and I finally got it for 50% off, so I'm really excited to try this pattern. This is my first time trying this pattern or any patterns from Just Patterns. They have really unique and stylish patterns, so I'm really excited to try their pattern.
Help me. The ball. The one that you want to do. But
I fold corners of the pattern papers like this to check the alignment. I think it's much faster than folding or cutting off the edges of each paper. Simply overlap them and patterns come together very quickly. I thought there was no test square to check the printing scale, but I just noticed that this rectangle was actually a test rectangle. It's supposed to be 2 inches by 9 inches, and when I checked mine, it was slightly smaller than it's supposed to be. But I already taped the pattern together and the scale wasn't that off, so I decided not to fix this problem. But before I start cutting out my fabric, there were a couple of changes I wanted to make to the pattern. Their website shows you how to do different alterations to the pattern, and I wanted to do this alteration for more coverage around the neckline, because I know that if I can't wear a regular bra with the top, I probably wouldn't wear the top that much. So I'm going to go with size 40 because I'm between 38 and 40, but I know my print came out a little bit smaller, so just in case if it's too big, I can probably make it smaller, but if it's too small, there is nothing I can do, so I'm gonna go with size 40. First, I'm going to highlight my size. Okay, step 1. On this sleeve pattern, I need to come in 5/8. From here to here, 5/8. Then from this notch, okay, it looks a little curvier. On this pattern, this is the edge. I shave 1/2 inch off, which comes here. I'm just gonna X that out. And this is a new line. Move 5/16 to the fold edge. Just for the notch, not cutting line here. For the front bodies, I move this notch to the left by 3/8 of an inch. 3/8. I think that's all. There are 5 steps. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to notch the pattern as I come to these notches because I don't want to cut the pattern paper with my fabric scissors. And it's easy to forget once the patterns are separated from the... It only cost me like $5 to $7 on Amazon. This really comes in handy. Because I made a lot of changes to the pattern, I decided to test the fit with less precious fabric first. I just made a big mistake here. I put the band to the wrong side. I had to take off everything here. I've been sewing for a very long time, but I make this kind of mistakes all the time. If you're a beginner and then you make a mistake, don't get discouraged. It happens to everyone. Make yourself some tea, grab your seam ripper, and you're gonna be okay. Okay, so make sure you're looking at the right side of the fabric here. The next step is to top stitch around the back neckline. Whenever you are dealing with thick fabric or a lot of layers, start stitching on the scrap fabric so you keep your machine foot leveled. This way it's much easier to have a clean start of the next stitching. I use tiny zigzag stitch, which was suggested by the instruction when you don't have cover stitch machine. Right now, the neckline is stretched out because of the stitching and you might think it looks terrible, but it's pretty normal and the steam ironing will take the wrinkling right out. This is a front piece and this is the right side facing up. I'm going to attach the top of the sleeve here, matching this notch with the edge of the front piece and matching this notch to the edge of this neckband. And here is the front neckband, fold it in half, then put it along the neckline. I'm guessing this notch goes to the edge of this back ribbing. Okay, I'm just checking because I don't want to repeat the mistake. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to serge here, catching the top part of the sleeve between the ribbing and the front bodice. This is a little bit tricky, especially there are 3 layers of things you need to serge together. Whenever I release the clip, I make sure the needles are in the fabric so the fabric doesn't shift around. Again, the needles are in. Slightly stretch this so that there is no sagging fabric between the needles and where I'm holding. I'm pressing down with my fingers here. Then I release the clip, align the notches with my other finger. Then I'm going to slide this with the fabric and not releasing these fingers. I want to push it until the edge of this ribbing is caught in the needles. Okay, now the edge of this piece is caught in the needles. So I can just stretch and align the fabric. Alright, I'm going to release this last clip. I'm holding all the layers with my left hand, releasing the clip, still holding it, and make all the edges align with my other hand. This is where I just stitched. Now I'm supposed to top stitch here to the edge, then stitch over top stitching of this area to secure this ribbing so the ribbing holds up. This is how it's looking so far. It's a little bit too tight in this fabric, but the fabric doesn't have 100% stretch, so that's expected. I think I want to add some fabric here to cover my bra straps. Add some inches to the side seams and on the sleeves. Right now it's a little bit too tight for my taste, but I really like the overall shape, so I have high hope for this. Okay, here are the changes I made. I added 3/8 of an inch at the sleeve hem and tapered to 0 at the underarm. I added 1 inch here, tapered to 0 at the shoulder. I added a notch 1 inch from the original notch. I'm going to keep this notch to match the front piece to the front rib piece, because I didn't want to recalculate the stretch and everything. So I'm just going to keep these notches there. I'm just going to bring the edge of this sleeve front to this notch, because this is shorter than this original line. I shortened the back neckband too. I shortened the back neckband by 5/8 of an inch. And I added about 1/2 inch to the waist and it made it a little bit bigger here and here. The reason why I did this instead of choosing the neck size up is because I don't want to make the shoulder area and the neckline bigger. I want to keep the shoulder area and the neckline the same and make it a little bit bigger everywhere else. That's why I altered the pattern this way, and I hope they work. I think this is looking good. The only thing I want to change is to do some square shoulder adjustment here. Probably take out 1/2 inch here at the neck point. What I did differently on this version is to top stitch the neckline with regular straight stitch. I used long stitch length and I stretched the fabric under the presser foot as I sewed. The result was this slightly stretchy neckline. I think this stretchiness is enough because neckline is wide and it doesn't have to stretch to go over my head. And I used regular zigzag stitch to finish the sleeve hem instead of the twin needle finish which was suggested by the instruction. I find the twin needle finish to be not stretchy enough sometimes and it snaps easily. I think the zigzag stitch finish is quite subtle and nice. Okay, maybe I was too lazy to set up my machine for the twin needle, but this is just my preference. I think the square shoulder alteration turned out pretty good. This neckline is a little bit smaller. Maybe it's not as cool looking as the original design, but I feel more comfortable like this and I can wear a regular bra with it, so I think it's great. I'm very happy with the result. It took me a while to adjust the pattern to my liking, but now I love the fit and the design of the top. I'm sure I'm going to wear this top a lot this winter.